At 5:30 every morning, before the city of Phoenix fully woke up, a man named Mark Reynolds would quietly unlock his old blue sedan. He'd step out and stretch his stiff back, looking just like another early commuter heading off to work. But what no one knew was that this car wasn't just his transportation. It was his bedroom, his shelter, and the heartbreaking sacrifice he made so his children could sleep safely under a real roof. Mark was 38, a divorced father of 2-8-year-old Lily and 6-year-old Noah. Just 2 years earlier, his life had seemed perfectly normal. He had a steady warehouse job, a small apartment, and a happy routine of school drop-offs and weekend pancakes. But then, the company downsized, the job disappeared, his savings dwindled to nothing. And soon an eviction notice was taped to his door. Mark was faced with an impossible choice. He could take his kids with him into the uncertainty of homeless shelters, moving them from place to place. Or he could find a way to keep them somewhere stable, somewhere they could call home. For Mark, the choice was clear. He chose stability for them. He found a small, worn-down apartment on the edge of town that he could just barely afford with temporary work. He signed the lease in his ex-wife's name so the kids would be safe and wouldn't have to answer any difficult questions. And then, without telling a single soul, he moved into his car. Every single night, Mark's routine was the same. He'd hug his kids goodnight, help Lily with her spelling words, and listen to Noah talk about his favorite dinosaurs. He would wait until their breathing slowed into the deep, peaceful rhythm of sleep. Then, he'd grab his jacket, his phone charger, and slip out the door as quietly as he could. He parked in different spots each night, behind grocery stores, near churches, sometimes in hospital lots, anywhere he thought he wouldn't be noticed. He quickly learned which spots were the safest, which security guards would look the other way, and which nights were so cold that sleep felt impossible. In the summer, the suffocating heat soaked into his bones. In the winter, he slept curled into a tight ball, trying to pretend that constant shivering was just part of a bad dream. But during the day, Mark never looked homeless. He showered at a local gym he paid for with borrowed money. He worked 2 grueling jobs, loading trucks in the morning and cleaning offices at night. His hands were always sore, and his eyes were perpetually tired. But whenever Lily ran into his arms after school, or Noah proudly showed him a crooked drawing he'd taped to the fridge, Mark would smile like a man who had everything in the world. His kids never knew. But one evening, his daughter Lily noticed something. "Dad," she said softly, "why do you always leave at night?" Mark froze. He knelt down beside her. "I just have to work late sometimes, sweetie," he said, his voice gentle. "That's all." She nodded, but her eyes stayed on him, thoughtful and quiet in a way that scared him. Weeks turned into months. The bills kept piling up. Mark started skipping meals just to make sure the fridge at their apartment was never empty. Some nights, the gnawing hunger hurt even worse than the cold, but he'd repeat the same mantra to himself every night as he locked his car doors. "This is temporary. This is for them. This is worth it." One rainy night, exhaustion finally won. He fell asleep at a red light, his foot barely pressing the brake. A blaring horn snapped him awake just in time. His heart pounded in his chest. He pulled over, his body shaking as the rain tapped a lonely rhythm against the windshield. And for the first time, he cried. Not loudly, just quiet, broken sobs that let the pain finally escape. "I'm trying," he whispered to no one. "I'm really, really trying." Just a week later, everything changed in the smallest, most unexpected way. Mark was cleaning offices when his supervisor, an older woman named Denise, noticed him rubbing his neck and wincing in pain. She asked if he was okay. Mark's instinct was to just say yes, to hide it like he always did. But this time, something inside him broke. He told her the truth. He told her everything. Denise didn't interrupt. She just listened, her expression kind. When he finished, she simply nodded and said, "You shouldn't have to carry all this alone." The next morning, Mark was called into the office. He expected to be reprimanded, maybe even fired. Instead, Denise handed him a full-time contract, a pay raise, and information about an employee housing assistance program he never even knew existed. 2 months later, Mark moved into a small apartment. It was nothing fancy, but it was warm, it was clean, and it was his. The first night he slept in a real bed, he couldn't fall asleep. The comfort felt foreign, almost undeserved. When he finally drifted off, the sun was already rising. Lily noticed immediately. "Dad," she said, a huge smile spreading across her face. "You stayed." Mark swallowed the lump in his throat and hugged her tighter than ever before. Not because he was loud or powerful, but because he suffered in silence so that his children never had to. Sometimes, love isn't about grand gestures or dramatic speeches. Sometimes, love looks like a man sleeping in his car, night after night, just so his kids can believe the world is still a safe and wonderful place. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that matters.